WSB Pill, while being a small ship, ended up playing an important role in the sinking of a submarine. She also supported the efforts of the destruction of a couple other ships. She was nearly sunk after fighting with another ship. Critically wounded, she would end up limping to Plane Crazy Port for some repairs. We're going to start the tutorial on how to build this ship. Now I'm going to keep it kind of basic and I'm not going to waste your time too much. So there's going to be quite a bit of editing to it. We're going to first start with 15 long, making sure to place a single block there, 1x4s like this. Next, you're going to get yourself some of these, and you're going to move this up one block. Because of the shape of these are dumb. Oh well. It's better than the rounded wedge. I decided to remove them completely from the build because you cannot turn them into metal. POV, you're on a raft made out of rounded metal outer wedges.
Hello, how are you? I am under the water. Please help me.
Yeah, not very good for ship sinks in mid-combat, or even if at all. So we're just gonna place 1x4s, and then some 1x3s. Whatever works. You can change up the pattern if you want. And then we're finally gonna cap these off with some hat balls. So once this thing is spawned in, we'll get a nice round shape for the hull. Additionally, for the ballast blocks, since these are the only ones, you're going to make the front ones heavy, N density, and the back ones 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. Now this is how many I could fit because the ship is literally the exactly 500 and I want to keep it under that. So alright, next we have 1x7 beam armor. So let's get a 1x7 beam. And we'll get plenty of those. And next it's signs. Now I'm not going to really show you how to make them, but if you press Windows and period, then you'll be able to get some emojis and stuff, symbols. You'll be able to do this. So this, one of them is this round circle. And then I just press tab and then do the next one and the next one. This will be a little annoying. Signs are never fun, as you can see. Additionally, painting it was quite simple. It's only 3, 4, 5 colors, and most of them aren't even used very often, so really so helpful. Something like that. Right, and we're just gonna get your typical transparent compressor. Alright, next one, you're going to want to place right here. And then make this first one negative 0.25 blocks. Then we're going to tower up, apparently. If we... Alright, yeah. Alright, just build temporarily off like this. Build like this. And then get yourself some half blocks. Just check real quick if these are the same. Alright, so then we're going to start building the front part. And this one is negative 0.25 also. So then you'll get a wedge, this 1x2 half wedge block, and a half beam. And this half beam does lead to another tower on the back half. I'm not even going to bother trying to. But yeah, we're going to get two 2x2 cylinders. And then just place them in a row like this. Then you can get some cylinders. And then we're going to actually head over and get some smoke pipes. Then you can just get this. These are settings I have. They're pretty much just maxed out to be as inconvenient as possible. They're being used to, you know, block out the sky and stuff via smoke. So, that's their ability. It doesn't really matter which direction you put these at this point. Then just get an angle of negative 0.1 for the final ones. You do need 3. And then you can get yourself a half cylinder. So, yeah. Beam starts there. Oop. A block and a half block. Alright. Stop struggling with text. Now just add your text signs. If you do the same windows and period, if you're on PC, then it's just a square and a tab. And hopefully these copy off well. And we're gonna have to add 1x1 signs to each of the sides. And these are just brackets. If you're on keyboard, you'll probably easily find them. And because it goes down 0.25 of a block below the deck, it'll look really similar to a door. So feel free to paint them later if you want. Actually, these are a gray color, 70, 70, 70. So I guess I'll show you each of the colors afterwards. Alright, I mean, I guess we can build the front now. Basic bridging block. It's this block specifically just to save on blocks and stuff. So, oh, I just had a friend join. Well, I'm not stopping recording for that. Alright, next.
Bye.
Alright, well, he left. After saying hi. Yeah, I'm in someone's random server, you know. So I'm not paying for my own. There's plenty of them out there. But yeah, it's the inconvenience. Sometimes people just join you randomly. Yeah, right. This is negative 0.25 blocks. And this block, yeah, goes back 0.5. So goes up and then like that. Alright, so once we do that, for each of the masts, we go for the first two, we'll go out 4, and for the last one, only 3. Finder 0. Alright. Then we can give our settings. This one is 0 because it doesn't need to move anywhere. And these in between ones don't need to move anywhere also. So then we can get our rods and just build up as high as the last one. We can start building out. This one's 0. This one's also 0. And these next couple are locked all the way down. Alright. Alright, next we're going to place a 1.5 beam. Or a cylinder. Oh yeah, by the way, make sure your 1.5 cylinder is facing the right way. It only welds in some areas of the block. It has a pretty strange pattern. Looks something like this. Why, Rick J? Why? Don't be me and waste 15 minutes trying to find the issue. Yeah, oh. Block. And a rod. I think we 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and that's it. Build that tall. And then starting from the top rod, build like that, make a gap, build like that, make a gap, build like that. Additionally, for any trails, I don't think I used any for like propulsion system and stuff to give it more detail. So all of them are just gonna have no power and are just there for decoration. So make sure to do that. Alright. This one's point. Just to keep the gun slightly above the deck and, you know, not cause so much friction it can't move and be buggy and stuff. Next, you're going to have a motor 2 facing specifically that direction. Both guns are the same, so... Alright, and this is 0.5. It should be right. Then you can get yourself some of these angle locks, and these are the only part that uses the angle locks is just for towering. And you can turn these into mines or depth charges. If you want it to be a mine, then you keep the disconnector the same. But if you want it to be a depth charge and have it go down in the water and sink, turn the disconnector into metal. Although it does make it heavier, and that's the whole reason why it sinks. So it might weigh down the ship quite a bit. And just name each of these 1 through 2. You know. And then for the TNT, you know, max out settings, set for impact speed, making it as slow as possible. We ignore self, arm on key, and on impact. So it will explode on anyone once you drop it. There we go. And then finally for the angle locks, just make sure it's angle locking into itself. So if we were to change it, it would be going this way, which would cause it to lock into this. So it's going the right way, supposedly. Alright, so there's the mines. Let's finish the gun. Get yourself a compressor, another compressor. And tower up like this. Block. Alright. Next, get your motor 2. That's specifically facing that direction. And then you're going to want to get a trail with unpowered settings. Oh, we didn't finish the mast. Lol. I mean, I don't think it's really that hard, but then just tower like this. For specifically the center ones, you're going to want to lock by negative 0.375. This just avoids the head of the motor glitching into the rocket. So and you can place yourself a rocket. And then you can place yourself a gun on that. For the ones we specifically made a different setting. So hopefully this gun will spawn incorrectly, but there's a chance you might not. Oh yeah, and the motor 2s do have specific settings for both guns. It is 135 degrees, and everything else is the same as the rest. And for the gun barrel itself, 45 degrees. Could always change the amount, but yeah. Just checking on time. Alright, let's finish this barrel. Like the other one, you need to lock down back 0.25 of a block. And we're gonna just tower it this way, except it's, you know, just blank. And we'll tower like this. That one's blank also, this one's not, this one is, this one's not. So, you know, this is 0, 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 and even this one's 0 actually. Only the bomb 2 need to be pushed 0.5 of a block back, you know. 3 cylinder, or only 3x3 cylinders. We're gonna make it to the design, so. Alright, so now we're gonna lock up a block. So. Time for this crazy mess of towers. I found this really difficult to try to get everything to fit the way we wanted. Another 0.5 of a block. Alright, yeah, so this one's also 0.5. This one is, and this one is. This one is, and this one is. Once we get to this one's actually 0. Negative 0.25. 0.5. 1. I thought half a block was too much, so that's why it's negative 0.25. For this one. This one's 1 though, so. So negative 0.25, negative 0.5, and 1 for that one. 2x2 half cylinder there. We're right here. Alright. So we're gonna have 2 compressors like this. One's gonna be negative 0.25 and one's gonna be negative 0.26. Then we'll have a rod in between, some blocks. And then these blocks are connected on each side. Now, I guess this could be any block, but I'm just gonna make a wedge to like the design. And it's just a bunch of compressors, which eventually leads to our motor 2, which is the same to the other cannon. So this one's 0, this one's negative 0.4, and the other ones are negative 0.25. Again, don't really need to show this bit. It's same as the other cannon, just, you know, facing the other direction. Yeah. Right. And it slots in perfectly with the other parts of the build to not collide. All right. You know, I mean, I guess if you want to with the trail, you could actually, I think you could actually make it have some color to it. And so, your gun would, shoot off something, give it some color. These are going to be 0.5 of a block. And then we're going to get, push back 0.5 of a block. So yeah, it's the thing when you cap them off like this is that, you have to push them back in. The sides are the same, but right. These are where the 1x4 beams go, and the rest is wedges. 1x3 wedge. So we can save on blocks. Blocks is everything. I really learned a lot on how to save blocks when I was building BattleBots. So that was one of the techniques. Alright, 1x4 half wedge, which gets us a 1x8 wedge technically. And then 1x4 wedges. And then you can cap it off with some cutters. Then you can build down, more cutters. Then we can place some wedges. Some compressors, negative 0.5. And I can find the block. We're getting those really small corner wedges. Yeah, triangle wedges. And then they're going to be one. And as you can see, more corner wedges. 1x4 specifically. And each side for each one. And now then some half wedge 1x4s and a corner triangle wedge 1x4 also. Alright, I got 20 minutes to finish this up. Down another one and then back a block. Yeah, I know, confusing. Alright, so then the block under that is going to be a 1x4 wedge, if I can find it. Then some wedges. And then a 1x4 wedge. And finally, a 1x4 wedge here. Alright, so we're going to go down here. 1x4. Back one. Down one, jeez. Alright, this is going to start getting difficult, but then we have to skip a block and go there. This is going to be filled by a rod or a cylinder. Something that can bridge the gap without any connecting blocks on these four sides, because that's how compact it is. Right. So now we're going to get some of these. And then all compact. So So yeah, you'll paint them whatever color material you'll make them. Get yourself some beams. Get yourself some 1x2s. Then some half blocks. And then some 1x3s. But make sure they go out 2 blocks, because we're going to have to do something special with it afterwards. And some more 1x3s. And then connect them to the other side. It's actually meant to be a beam. That's so you can connect this. And then we'll just get a normal 2x2 half cylinder and a split cylinder. Then some 1x2 corner wedges, and then it's half wedge that goes with it. Never mind, actually these are meant to be half box, so yeah, not perfect, but it's close enough. Alright, finally, we got 1x3 wedges. Put them onto each side. Oh. 1x2 right afterward. Delete the temporaries and 1x3 and 1x2 corner wedges and corner wedge blocks. All right. I'm gonna quickly make sure everything is going to lock correctly. Yep. All right. Next, you're gonna get some rods, build 2 out, and then we're going to get a rudder in. So we're gonna do this. Actually make a motor 2, so you'll have a limited angle, a compressor that's -0.25 of a block, so it's a little more realistic, and then you'll just keep building down. But first, let's build this section up, because we're gonna have to do, you can get some more compressors, and then we're gonna make the propulsion system. Now they all use the same technique. For get yourself some rods, and then some propellers. Now, to get her to her top speed, which is around 21 knots, we're going to have to diagonal lock, which, angle this 90 degrees in whatever direction, and then angle lock them into the same block. Honestly, it's pretty self-explanatory. Shouldn't be too hard. Then we're going to need 4 of them. So one of them is going to be for backing up, and the rest will be for moving forwards. How I do it is that we have forwards, stop, and then backwards, there's a stop too. So it's not perfect. You have to make sure it's full stop before you can reverse, but... And then the other side also has that, but different controls. So... and you can get yourself some angle locks. Angle lock inwards. Alright, so that's done. And now we can do the same thing for the propeller. And I'm just going to build a bunch of temporaries before we build it. I think it's just going to be faster this way. Alright. Delete. Delete. And we'll build 10 down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yeah, this is the technique I use if I need to lock a bunch of blocks into the same area. Then fill in any of these gaps. Right here, just connect them all up. Two, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, and the bottom ones. Alright, and it's almost over, but we have one more thing that we need. We need a place to sit, and yeah, apparently I just... kind of a waste. Why did I do this? And just place 3 blocks like this near the front of the ship. Then place your seat right there. Of course, I'm just going to place a pilot seat because this is a copy. Honestly, maybe I should keep this copy. Apparently we're missing some blocks. Well, let's spawn and see what happens, and if anything breaks, we can fix it. Alright, and for the last part of the tutorial, I forgot a couple things at the front. Actually, basically the entire front of the build. There are supposed to be blocks right here. So we're going to get some half slabs, half cylinders. Place them on the bottom here. And then we're going to get right there. We're going to right. Place some half slabs. Blocks. We're going to get a down wedge. Place one here. Doesn't affect the look. It fits. Alright. And then finally, we need some 1x1 signs. And place them on each side here. Sorry about forgetting that. Alright, well, I found all the blocks that I missed, so... And now, there's one last thing to complete this build. We need to paint it. Alright, first, let's get materials. We're going to be mostly painting it metal. As we can see, yeah, it's mostly metal. The only thing, to my knowledge, that isn't metal is the funnels and the signs. Anything else that cannot be turned into metal. And the mines sometimes, depending if you want them mines or if you want them depth charges. Depth charges, you should turn the disconnector into metal so it's heavy enough to cause the TNT to sink. So yeah, I'm going to quickly make everything metal. Now, I'm just going to hand paint this. It shouldn't take too long. I guess you could technically just use the material tool, but there's some stuff you don't want metal. So you might as well just paint it. Plus, I just don't like the look of compressors being any other material than the default. It just looks weird. And depending on the material, it's probably not good. Once you've turned it into metal, you can go grab some colors. Personally, for the bomb, I use red. Now this is for the first 1.5 blocks of the bomb hole. Next, we can grab a gray color. This is our gray color. And we're going to paint most of the build gray. Anything up above the water line will be gray. Next, you can get the color glass. So if you spawn in a glass block, then you can color pick it, and this is the colored glass. We'll be using that on any of our windows, but of course you could use different colors too. Personally, a good lightish black would look pretty good. So. Then we can get a medium gray, which is 70-70-70. This is a custom color, and we're going to use that for doors. But of course, I think black would also work, but I feel like this looks more realistic. And finally, we can go for the funnels. They'll have this orange color. And make sure to not paint the smoke. You might honestly want to make that a dark color. Apparently, this is another ring around it. And we'll have this black, which is just really dark black. So yeah, that's it for the painting of the build. Of course, feel free to make changes. I've probably missed a couple areas of the build. It's 500 blocks. I think this is the biggest tutorial I've ever made.